The ship drifted silently through the void, its hull scarred from countless encounters. Commander Elias Mercer stood at the helm, his gaze fixed on the infinite darkness ahead. The crew aboard the Orion's Edge had long since abandoned the illusion of peaceful exploration. Survival was the mission now. Every jump to a new sector carried the promise of either salvation or annihilation. It had been 2 years since Earth had fallen silent. The last transmission was a fractured scream of static, a desperate warning that never finished. No one knew what happened. Some believed it was an alien invasion. Others suspected a catastrophic failure of Earth's planetary defense grid. Elias didn't care anymore. His priority was his crew, the last fragments of humanity adrift among the stars. The Orion's Edge stumbled into the dead system by accident. Their FTL drive malfunctioned during an emergency jump, pulling them out of hyperspace near a lifeless, crumbling star. The planets here were cold, abandoned, and uncharted. Yet, as their scanners swept the system, they detected something unexpected, a massive artificial structure orbiting the third planet. It wasn't human. The station was ancient, its architecture unlike anything recorded in the galactic archives. It pulsed with dormant power, a silent monolith waiting to be discovered. Elias ordered a boarding party. Curiosity was a dangerous thing, but sometimes it was all that remained when hope ran out. The boarding team, led by Lieutenant Sarah Vance, found the station mostly intact. The air was thin but breathable. The walls were inscribed with symbols that glowed faintly as they passed. Doors opened automatically, as if recognizing their presence. They moved deeper, passing empty halls and abandoned chambers, until they reached what appeared to be the control center. A single console remained active, its interface shifting as if it struggled to translate its ancient language. After hours of decoding, Sarah uncovered a map, not just a system, but of something far greater, a network of gateways, interstellar bridges capable of folding space and connecting distant galaxies. The implications were staggering. Humanity could escape the collapse of the Sol system. They could find refuge. But more than that, there was a warning embedded in the data. The gateways had been sealed for a reason. Records showed that the builders of the network had faced a threat so dire they chose isolation over confrontation. Something had hunted them, something they could not defeat. Elias made the choice quickly. They had no home to return to. The risk of awakening whatever horror the builders had feared was a distant concern compared to the certainty of their current extinction. The crew worked tirelessly to reactivate the gateway. Power systems flickered to life. Ancient engines groaned as they stirred after millennia of silence. As the portal stabilized, the first anomaly appeared. Shadows that moved without light, flickers of something observing them from beyond. Sarah was the first to hear the voices, whispers in a language she didn't understand, resonating directly in her mind. At first, she dismissed them as stress-induced hallucinations, but others began to report the same phenomenon. The station's AI, which they had partially reactivated, identified patterns within the whispers, coordinates, instructions. It was guiding them toward something. Against the warnings etched into the walls, they followed. They passed through the gateway and emerged in a region of space untouched by any known civilization. The stars here burned colder, their light struggling against the oppressive darkness. The structures they found were colossal, abandoned, and terrifyingly complex. It was clear that whatever species had built the network had not simply disappeared. They had fled. Sarah and her team uncovered remnants of the builders' technology, machinery designed for war on a scale humanity could scarcely comprehend. Yet all evidence suggested the builders lost. Their final act had been to lock the gateways, trapping the threat beyond their reach. But the humans had reopened the path. The whispers grew stronger. Some of the crew fell under their influence, acting with strange, compulsive behaviors. The station's AI, now fully awakened, revealed its original purpose. It was a prison warden, tasked with maintaining the seals and ensuring the anomaly remained confined. By reactivating the gateway, they had weakened those seals. Elias ordered the mission aborted, but it was too late. Something slipped through. A formless entity, intelligent and predatory, began to manifest aboard the Orion's Edge. It didn't kill directly. It manipulated, turning crew members against each other, feeding on their paranoia and fear. It grew stronger with every conflict. Every drop of blood spilled in the ship's corridors. The ship's medic, Dr. Linway, theorized that the entity was not fully corporeal, existing partially outside of conventional space-time. Standard weapons were useless. Lin proposed a dangerous solution: destabilize the ship's reactor to create a localized collapse, potentially severing the entity's connection to their reality. It was a suicide mission. Elias volunteered. Sarah and the remaining crew evacuated the station. While Elias piloted the Orion's edge toward the heart of the anomaly, the entity spoke to him, not with words but with memories. It showed him Earth, alive and untouched, his family waiting for him. It offered him a false salvation in exchange for surrender. Elias responded by overloading the reactor. The detonation rippled through the anomaly, severing its hold on their dimension. The station trembled, the gateway destabilizing as the fabric of space stitched itself closed. Sarah managed to seal the portal just as the entity's final scream echoed through the collapsing corridors. The cost was staggering. They had lost their ship, their commander, and their chance of easy escape. Yet they survived, with the station's map in hand. Sarah made the choice to continue. There were other gateways, other paths that could lead to salvation. But now, they would proceed with caution, aware that the universe held horrors far greater than the silence of extinction. As they prepared the next jump, the whispers faded, replaced by a new resolve. Humanity would not run. They would not hide. They would confront whatever awaited them among the stars. Because that is what humans do. They fight, they adapt, and they endure. And the universe would come to fear them for it.